Extroverts are rewarded, introverts are punished. That's what I want to talk about in today's video, guys. And before we get into that, I was trying to think of a way to sort of redirect this channel because obviously I've kind of lost interest in posting purely just fitness content, purely just calisthenics content over time. Been doing it for, 10 years. And as you guys probably know by now, I also post my second channel, which just reached 500,000 subscribers. Here we talk more about like self-development, dating, self-improvement. I kind of show more of my lifestyle on there. And I created that channel because I was kind of limited to just only speaking about fitness and calisthenics topics. But now I think I found somewhere in terms of where I want to take this channel. And I want to talk about real stuff. I want to talk about the things that I know necessarily won't get a lot of views, but I know it's going to speak to somebody. And I know somebody's going to resonate with this message. And if anything, this is a message to my future and even younger self in terms of the things I've learned. So we're also going to show my workout that I am doing. As you see here, I'm doing a push-based workout today, kind of focusing on some one-arm handstand movements because that is a goal of mine. And so at the same time, while speaking about these real-ass subjects, I do want to take you guys through the workout and kind of just show what I'm doing so that you have something to watch. So if you are excited for that, definitely be sure to subscribe because we definitely got more videos coming every single week. All right. But back to today's video topic. Extroverts are rewarded, introverts are punished. If you guys don't know, I myself am an introvert. I did some personality tests by Myers-Briggs and I got INTJ, which the first one stands for introvert. So this basically means that I'm rational, I stick to myself, very logical and practical. I'm more of a strategist sort of guy. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans thrived within social tribes. If you were not in a tribe to where you can communicate and socialize with people, you were not going to survive. And so with that being said, over the course of hundreds of thousands of years moving into modern society now, we're in a time of, swipe right, swipe left culture, like this, like that, follow, unfollow. And it seems like the world is more lonelier than ever, even though we're more connected than ever. Even me with being a remote worker, I noticed some days I could literally go without speaking to anybody. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because obviously extroverted people are more social. So if you are more social, that's going to allow you for more opportunities. Everything has a pros and cons. But here's the thing, can you change your personality? I personally don't think so. I don't think you can change your brain chemistry permanently to be that of an extrovert. I believe you can fake it till you make it. You can have a little bit of confidence in certain situations. You can act extroverted, maybe with some drugs or some temporary relief through alcohol. People tend to find that their personality change. But at your core, I don't believe you can change your brain chemistry over time. I think you can only work with what you have and try to enhance that. Also, is there a link between your personality and your physical attractiveness due to positive and negative reinforcement? So some people say that introverts are born because they are ugly and they get negative reinforcement throughout their whole entire life, thus making them more into like recluse or sheltered sort of people who give off more introverted vibes. Think of the classic school shooter cases, right? There was one recently in Georgia. And one of the things that the girl said was, he really didn't talk much. He was kind of to himself. He had no friends. That tends to be that personality archetype of somebody who would engage in certain behaviors like that. You rarely see like somebody who's really extroverted, has a big social group, has a lot of friends, engaging in, monstrous or disastrous sort of activities. I've seen quite a lot of attractive introverts and also not so attractive extroverts. So though positive and negative reinforcement can play a role, I still don't think that is the deciding factor into what makes it actually decide if you become introvert or extrovert. I do think it's also due to your lifestyle and your upbringing and the things you naturally tend to gravitate to. Like if you're a guy who naturally liked reading books as a kid, you might find yourself more introverted growing into adulthood. If you had a lot of friends growing up, you're always playing sports, you're a part of a lot of group activities as a kid, maybe you might lean more towards the extroverted side due to your shaping and upbringing. But at the end of the day, I still believe there's a genetic component to introversion and extroversion. Now, one thing about being introvert too, and I'll say this is just over a con, is that you're perceived as shy and closed off. People don't realize being introverted doesn't always mean that you're shy. It doesn't mean that you're closed off either. It just means that your social battery kind of takes a hit whenever you're in large social groups for a long period of time, or you just simply enjoy time by yourself. But since, once again, humans are social creatures, people necessarily can't relate or connect with the introvert as good or as great as they can with the extrovert. Now, with introversion too, there's different sort of spectrums. For instance, there's the antisocial types, people who just don't want anything to do with friends or society or people, just really sort of stick to themselves. This is what you call like the loners. You also got your just reserved introverts. These people aren't necessarily shy, not antisocial. They just don't have much to say. They also make for really good listeners. In group settings, they might be, the quote unquote quiet friend. These types of people just overall have a lot more going on in their brain than they do, just speaking their thoughts like an extrovert would. And then also we got the person who takes a while to open up, but builds deep connections when they do. I would say this is somewhere that I'm in. I've always noticed that whenever I'm around, new people, whether it be a group or even individuals, it really takes me a long time to open up and truly be myself. And I've always wondered why, and I can never put my hand on it. Like, it seems like everybody else just can be like natural, charismatic, funny, make lasting impressions and connections. Whereas me, it's like, why do I feel this like inhibition in me truly being myself? And I can never figure out why. But I learned over time that was like a introversion sort of characteristic that I just naturally and genetically had. Maybe because in the past, whenever I was able to be myself, it might have backfired, and I'm just not aware of that, and that's translating into the reality now. But it definitely happens, and those are the sort of spectrums of introversion that I've also noticed. And then also, we're going to talk about success, which success is often partially attributed to your personality, which can influence your sense of purpose. So introverts tend to, go more towards like technology or maybe STEM sort of jobs, whereas extroverts are really good in sales. They're more persuasive. They have big networks. And a lot of success too isn't necessarily about your skill set, but more so who you know. But we're going to get into that. First, let's talk about some of the struggles of just being an introvert overall. Now, a lot of introverts don't even realize they're introverted until they're called out or once again punished for it, which kind of signifies the title of this video. If you've ever been the quiet kid in class or the quiet kid in a group, people might say, "Hey, why are you so quiet?" Or, "Hey, are you okay?" When the truth is, you are okay. Or, you didn't know or understand or realize that there was an issue with being quiet until it's called out for it, right? And also, it's harder for introverts to make connections or friends. Maybe because they don't have the desire to, which plays a part into it. But also, I believe it's an aspect of social skills. Introverts, because they don't engage in a lot of social communication, just tend to lack the social skills in order to make long-lasting, deep connections with people on a ongoing basis. But I would say once again that once they do find that friend, it's a very, very solid friendship. I've also noticed too, because I have some extroverted friends, and that's the fact that they have wide networks, but it's always shallow. It's always shallow relationships. They don't know each other too well. It's more like an acquaintance sort of vibe. Now let's talk about the advantage of being an extrovert. Somebody who is more outgoing, more confident, usually more sociable, and often more assertive. A study actually found that they had a 25% higher chance of being in a high earning job just due to those characteristics and personality traits alone. Think about your own social group. Think about that extroverted friend, or think about the most extroverted person you know. More than likely, this person might be in a successful career path, might, without a doubt, never be struggling for money or, struggling to pay bills or whatever, because even if they are, they know somebody that can help them. Now, the thing about extroverts too is that they have the gift of being noticed. Extroverts can talk their way into rooms and networks just through a simple hello. Like, "Hey, how you doing? Oh, so-and-so." They make connections, boom, boom. Everywhere they go, they're making connections with people everywhere. And the more people you start to realize that the world is actually a very, very small place, guys. Very, very small place. Once again, the same extroverted friend I have, he was on a plane, was talking to the guy beside him, ended up chatting him up for a few hours, and the guy ended up investing into his business just after like a 2-hour exchange going back and forth. Now me, what I would have done is I would have looked out the window and not said a word. Most introverts don't speak unless being spoken to. Extroverts, they speak to whoever's around them. And through that, they can make connections way, way easier. And not only that, but also dating connections too. Meeting women. You know, the whole idea of cold approach, go up to her, introduce yourself. That's a game for extroverts, bro. That's a game for extroverts because it's not forced. They naturally do it. They have no problem doing it. They thrive off small talk and making those connections with people. Now, of course, I do believe people can be successful no matter their personality traits, extroverts or introverts. And I wanted to do some research on successful extroverts, who I ended up finding one of them being Steve Jobs. We got Muhammad Ali, even Martin Luther King came up on the list, and all this was starting to make sense. And then I looked at the successful introverts, and we got Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and Mark Zuckerberg. Once again, your personality trait kind of goes into the line of work or field that you're in. Also, introverts often thrive in environments that require focus and deep work. According to a study by psychologists, introverts are more likely to enter what's called a flow state, a heightened sense of productivity and creativity, because they're naturally inclined towards solitude and reflection, where true innovation can happen. Also, Susan Cain, which is the author of a bestseller called The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking, emphasizes that many of history's greatest achievements came from people who spent more time thinking and reflecting rather than socializing. Being an introvert isn't a disadvantage, it can be a superpower if you learn to harness it. Your strength lies in your ability to listen, observe, and bring thoughtful insights to the table. So if you are an introvert watching this, you don't have to be punished for what you can't control. Instead, what you should do is leverage your strengths. Don't try to be an extrovert. Instead, focus on where your natural abilities lie, whether it's deep work, creativity, or meaningful one-on-one interactions. Also, if you do want to be more social, take small steps in social settings. You don't have to dominate a room. Even just making small connections can lead to big opportunities. Also, you need to take advantage of the digital age. Introverts often thrive in online spaces where they can communicate thoughtfully. This is an ideal time for introverts to build personal brands or businesses online without needing to attend endless in-person events. So overall, as an introvert, you can find success. You just have to be willing to put yourself out there and more so take more effort than that of the extrovert. All right. So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned. Peace.